like a theistic argument or something like that. But it feels like whenever I'm just making these things, you're like, well, they're not all delusional all the time, and it's like, well, yeah, that's like, I mean, the idea is a general idea of delusion, like it's.
Well, but yeah, if you wanted to take that approach, you'd want to frame your argument like probabilistically, though, rather than. I mean, the problem is I don't know what
it's such an inefficient way to talk about. Is what I'm trying to say. This is why the formal logic crowd. It feels like they don't live in reality. Like, I don't think anyone on this topic is using formal logic on it.
I think Ask Yourself does. Like, I think he'll let you come on and give a.
Okay, anyone normal and who actually has any productive things to say about the topic has it.
I mean, that just seems like an insult. I don't think that was productive, but.
Well, yeah, I know, but what I'm trying to get at is that, like, if we're trying to get to a conclusion, I mean, not even getting into like evidence-based stuff and all like anything on the topic. It's just like we're starting from here. We're having issues with premises. Like, it's I don't know, man. I'm in the medical field, and I don't get how people talk about topics like this. It seems like
I don't think using rhetoric like delusional. I mean, using rhetoric like delusional is also not productive, right?
Well, I mean, it's
people with false beliefs aren't delusional in general. But I mean, I think delusional is kind of smuggling in. Like Doug and I have talked about this at length, unfortunately. But
I mean, you could probably say a more less controversial word. I don't really know what word you would use to think something you are not. That's
you just say they have a false belief, right? That's a pretty like unloaded thing to say. Like someone has a false belief. Like if you think they're wrong about something,
you're okay with false
like,
belief.
I'm not gonna call theists delusional, but I think they have a false belief.
Yeah.
See, I mean, like if they were in some crazy cult, I might at that point maybe.
I think it's
start using that kind of language.
Yeah, I think it might be the baggage we have with this word, but I like, as far as just saying a belief not based in reality is, I don't know what else to say besides that.
Noteworthy, call me delusional.
We have to have a shorthand.
Noteworthy, call me delusional. Please.
I guess I don't think you're delusional.
But if someone were to call me delusional, well, guess what? Wouldn't make a dent.
I wouldn't care. Yeah, I wouldn't care either. You can call me delusional, but I just don't think it's like a productive way of engaging in these kinds of topics.
Well, you got to pick your battle.
We need a shorthand. Like, I think that's the concern. You need a shorthand.
Like I could have, like, when he put forth that syllogism, right? I could have said like, "Oh, you're a retard," but like that kind of thing is not productive. Right?
Yeah, that's crossing.
I don't think it's quite to that extent, but.
But what I'm trying to say is we need a word like that. I'm just using a shorthand. I could just say hold beliefs that aren't based in reality. If you want a longer version,
just say they have a false belief. Like that's incredibly. Okay. Like I'd be curious why why would Doug call, like, I don't think he really calls religious people delusional or crazy or either some of that. Like,
yeah, to me it's a case by case basis. Some yes, some no.
I mean, I'd call Paul delusion.
Same as you, I think.
But it seems you're pretty across the board calling trans people delusional.
Really?
Or you don't think so?
No. What's your evidence for that, Noteworthy?
I mean, yeah, I'm probably mixing you up with some of the stuff like Peter said,
but the point is, like, people say things and people use words, and I know people hate it when I say this, but your goal in life as an adult should be able to hear some of these words and not have this knee-jerk reaction that, oh, he called me delusional. And I understand your point that it's not always, doesn't lead to productive dialogue, but some of it is being able to hear things that are not perfect speech and let it go.
Yeah, but that's not a gambit, right? You can do both of them.
I know, but it's better to get yourself. You can't always assume that everybody's going to choose the right perfect words to make you feel comfortable. The goal should be,
but that's not a requirement either, though, right?
The goal should be.
How is that at all in tension with encouraging people to be more careful with what they say, right? I can do both. Like I can not care when people call me delusional.
Of course, Of course,
tell people like, hey, you probably shouldn't like use that kind of outcome.
I know, but you can't control the speech of other people, right? So it would be, in my opinion, my advice to other people would be get yourself strong. So when you hear things that's very hurtful to you, that you can shake it off very quickly.
I mean, why not give both pieces of advice? Why not
tell people to do that and also tell people? Everybody out there should be more careful with. Right? Everybody should be more careful with their language and.
I don't think you believe that, though. Do you?
Well, I do think
some sarcasm there.
I do think that when I practice strict SE, for example, I do that. In fact, the conversation I just had today, like, did I use any negative language? I don't think so. I got it recorded. Right?
You're talking the one with Angstreich.
Yeah, the one I published today on YouTube. I'd have
to watch it back. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't even think I was being sarcastic. But they hear me ask questions that are sometimes difficult questions, I admit. But because they don't like hearing the question, they automatically will throw out terms like they're doing it to me, right? You're a troll, blah, blah, blah. You're just here.
Well, come on, Doug. You're a little bit of a troll. Maybe not in that conversation, but I would call you like trollish a little bit.
I think everybody's trollish a little bit once in a while. Sometimes humor is viewed as being a troll. Sometimes sarcasm is viewed being a troll. So if you're using,
especially if you disagree with them, then it's trolling.
Yeah.
If you agree with them, it's comedy.
Yeah, that's basically.
Okay, it. I'll say you're a little like Machiavellian. Maybe that's I think that's a better description of.
But the problem was that when I'm trying to have what I thought was a civil conversation with a person named Zoe, that he and I were having a great conversation, and then Jack butts in, like feeling this white knighting, like I have to protect Zoe.
Yeah, that was a lot of white knighting.
I mean, if I was Zoe, I would think, shut up, I can handle myself.
I think I don't know. I think it's weird that. I mean, you could go into another room and just have the conversation or whatever, or
in fact, you know what?
Call,
I asked Zoe private messaged. Maybe he can come in now.
I feel like you went to the circus and you were surprised that there were clowns, Doug.
Well, what happened was Zoe asked me if he could ask me questions. And I said, sure. But I said, warning, like they probably won't allow this conversation to take place. They meaning Jack and others. And but we tried anyhow. And then sure enough, like when you ask the question, why do you think you're trans? Like, listen to Zoe's answer. Went on for like 2 to 3 minutes talking about the philosophy of identity. Like, I've asked that. I don't
see a problem with that.
You don't? I do. Because if I were to do something like that, people would say you're dodging the question. Why do you, Zoe, a particular individual on this planet, specifically think, as a male, that you're a woman? Is it now? To me, a suitable answer to that specific question would be, because I liked playing with dolls when I was a kid, or I like wearing dresses, or I find myself exhibiting many feminine features like nurturing. To me, those are all suitable answers. Not going into the philosophy of how identity is constructed through socialization.
Wait, I don't agree. I think that's literally a question about identity. It sounds like they did the right thing.
No. It's describing in general terms identity, but not specifically to Zoe, right? Why does Zoe?
But I think they hit the nail on the head with like that's likely where your disagreement probably lies, is disagreements around philosophy of identity. And that's probably a topic you're just not interested in discussing, and so you didn't like the answer.
No, I listened to the answer and then I said, can you be more specific, please? And that's when Jack jumped in.
Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. I started the video, but then I saw you guys in here. I said, oh, I'll talk to the Doug that's here.
In fact, Zoe, I'm messaging. Zoe might come in.
So is Jack... The funny thing is, Doug, is that these people like aren't PC. Like Doug, Jack and Haiti, like they like just play the game of like PC. They're not actually like PC. Like they mock it all the time in private.
PC meaning politically correct or PineCreek?
Yeah, politically correct.
Oh.
PineCreek, you should look in chat.
I should what?
Look in chat, like the chat for the
oh, okay.
Voice chat. Yeah.
Shem.
Do I know of the term autogynephilia? Yeah, I do. So it's basically, yeah, another answer that a person like Zoe could give is, well, no. But
that's a little too personal.
Autogynephilia is basically getting your kicks of addressing like the opposite sex.
Yeah, but
gender.
That's for people you don't know, that might be a little bit too across the line.
Yeah.
I feel like what turns you on.
Like if you're a male who likes breasts, big voluptuous breasts, why not put some on yourself, and then that way you're constantly happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I personally like breasts on a different person. But that's just me.
How's it going, Doug?
Considering you're married, I would hope so.
Yeah, exactly. It's going well. Zoe can't make it, I don't think. Yeah.
It is 12 o'clock at night.
I have a question for you. I could ask it later if that's what you want.
No, go ahead, Heinz.
But okay. So you know of Andrew Wilson from The Crucible.
Yep.
And he often argues for Christian nationalism, and one of the reasons is that he thinks that it's effective at preventing population decline. And I was wondering, do you think that there's an alternative to Christian nationalism that could prevent population decline? And my second question is, do you think that's something that's worth stopping?
I'd say yes and yes. So one thing that you can do to prevent population decline without using religion is you could do like tax incentives, huge tax incentives. Like, for example, you could make certain rules. I personally would make a rule like if you make household income over 100,000, if you have one child, you pay zero taxes for 1 year, let's say. Could be more. If you have two kids, you pay zero taxes, like zero, not just like a $2,500 child tax credit. It's just like you're tax exempt for 2 years if you have two kids. 5 kids, 5 years.
Didn't the Scandinavian countries try that? Like, I thought
Something
one of them
like
was
that.
almost like you got a big bag of money and it didn't work like at all.
Yeah,
but I do think you need to
debate.
incentivize wealthy people to have more kids, so because the poor, number one, don't pay taxes, and so you can't use any type of tax incentive for them, and so you would target the wealthy to have more kids, and that way you don't have financial burdens to society.
Yeah, I don't know if Andrew is right about this, but I heard him say in his debate with Voucher on this very topic that countries that have implemented those policies haven't really seen a change in their population decline, and like some of them, like not only is there population decline that's occurring in some of those countries that have implemented those policies, but even countries where there really isn't that much of a decline, like France, for example, the population is just stagnant. I don't know if that's true or not, but if are you familiar with the data on that?
No.
Okay. If that is true, then do you think that there should be a different approach to preventing population decline?
Yeah, I'm like Bill
That'd
Clinton.
be
If
more
it doesn't work, then don't do it. If it works, then do it.
Mhm.
Do you have any suggestions?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is something I haven't really been thinking about for too long. I don't know. Like maybe perhaps like
Advertising? You could do
perhaps
simple.
like putting it like within our education system, like some kind of like curriculum within our education system, or like promotes like having children.
Promote
cis. I don't know.
Promote cis traditional family values instead of non-binary and trans.
Cis? What's the cis?
What's the cis business?
Topic? Nomenclature, Doug?
I'm kidding. I mean, I like to speak the language of the woke, so they can understand me.
Yeah.
You speak Jackal?
I mean, that's just one idea. I don't know if that would be like that just might be like a little band-aid. I don't know if that would really adjust the
Why is
problem.
population decline bad though? I'm not sure I understand that. Other than all the Ponzi schemes we built, that like economic systems and stuff.
Well, you got it right there. Like
Yeah.
it depends on how fast it is.
Isn't that viable then to? Isn't that the clear option then to like fix our Ponzi scheme systems of like suburbia and like tax structures and all that stuff?
I mean, I guess we just need to understand like when do people fuck the most, right?
I think between the hours of 12 and 2 in the morning. That's when they the most.
Well, it's right now.
I'm just thinking about like the conditions, like that kind of allow people to like have sex more.
I do think
lack of sex
yeah,
really
in
the
the
issue?
past it was like it's kind of like unethical, but like there was less education, so like people like I don't know. They kind of started like big families. Like there was like a transition from like the agricultural side to the industrial side, and based on that fact, they didn't like it was like kind of easier to like have like high birth rates, but now we don't really have that. So
We don't have that because we don't need it anymore.
yeah, so we need to like have something similar, but not the same.
No, but my point
Like
is
robots.
the reason the birth rates were so high is because children were dying randomly.
Yeah, and then at that time was like when that time was like when like medical advances got like hella good, so like more children were being born, right? So
Bruh, them medical advances got hella good.
yeah.
another thing you can do to promote population growth is simple advertising, like show commercials of happy traditional families. A man,
Look at this happy traditional family. Look at how happy they are compared to this non-binary stupid
exactly.
family.
If you want to be unhappy, be non-binary.
I encourage you to be straight.
Wasn't it like Taiwan or somebody that tried that, like a big advertising campaign?
I think Japan did that because like their population is so like their birth rate is so bad right now. Like that's pretty much the only thing they can do. It's probably not gonna work though.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Are we surprised that advertising campaigns won't work?
I think we need something kind of like some sort of like large family unit type of thing. We need like more communal societies. So like I don't know, like just force like neighborhoods to like have like some community meeting type shit and govern themselves that way.
Or less time on social media and more time in real life on the streets.
Actually, though, yeah.
No, I am interested in your response to the second question, Doug, because you said that we should do something to reduce population decline. Why, in your view, should we do something to reduce?
Well, because if a population decline is too fast, that's a terrible way to go extinct.
It's not just that, but it's like the transition, like for society, is gonna be like pretty difficult.
That's what I'm talking about. It's a tough way to go extinct when basically you're slowly aging and there's no young people following behind to take care of you.
Yeah, exactly. Like also like you don't have enough people to do jobs and stuff like that, and like it was just AI doing everything, right? Like
I thought we weren't gonna have any jobs, so it's perfect.
Does that answer suffice, Heinz?
you will own nothing and eat the bugs, man.
It makes sense, but I'm still kind of facing this dilemma of whether or not it's actually like worth preserving the human species.
You're very pessimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want?
Yeah, I guess.
Do you mind us asking? Do you have a partner?
I might in a week because I would have a date set up.
Date. So. Nice. Okay. Well, after you go solid for a month or two, let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess I don't see any relation there.
Why do you say that?
Maybe if you had kids, I would understand it, but
no, I think when you have
what was the message?
I think when you have the attraction and the desire to be with someone, you have different views on life.
I mean, I want my partner to stay
alive.
Ask
really Vegan Gaines. I don't think Vegan Gaines' mind has changed.
Is he
I don't see why it matters if the species goes extinct in like 1 billion years when the sun burns out, or in 500 years. I guess that, like, when I was single or now that I don't think that changed.
Yeah, the dude's in a relationship and he's still like a total misanthrope as far as I'm aware.
That might be because he's vegan.
Yeah.
I hate vegans.
Honestly, like
they're delusional.
What do you mean by that? I mean,
so someone took the bait.
Arguably, I guess arguably I'm vegan, but because I
like using tribal outgroup language to label people who disagree
and backyard eggs, but I mean, a lot of vegans would not say that I'm vegan.
What did you just say? You're vegan, but you eat backyard eggs?
Eggs.
So it just makes you vegetarian.
Yes, I would call myself an Austria vegan. That's what I call myself.
Oh, because I'm a vegan too, actually, but I like ham at least 3 times a week.
Well, I guess it depends.
And beef on Fridays.
I don't know. I feel like veganism is there's certain I guess dietary behaviors that fall within like the realm of veganism, kind of, I guess, like libertarianism, right? Like you have like classical liberals, and then you have like anarcho-capitalists at the other side of the spectrum, right?
Veganism is just feel sorry for animals.
I don't think veganism matters for economics. You can implement it on any level.
Veganism is feel sorryism for animals? I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that, sure.
Yeah, it's feel sorry for animals.
That's pretty much what it is.
What's wrong with feel sorry for?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
That's just another way of saying empathy, right?
Yeah.
I thought feel sorry for was empathy over logic.
Oh, then I was wrong.
I've only seen you use it like negative.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of that phrase before, but yeah, I mean, I try to be logical, but I definitely think that when it comes to forming moral positions on things, that empathy is a huge factor. That should be.
Yeah, what I don't like is when vegans start using language. Well, I don't mind it, I should say. It doesn't bother me, but when they use language like you're raping a cow to get cheese. Okay, okay, I'm a rapist. Because I like cheese. See, that's the thing that vegans don't get. They scream, they turn red in the face, they pound their fists, thinking if you only understood, then you'd be like me, a vegan. No, I understand you. I just don't care like you do.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you care?
I'm probably pre-programmed.
Is it because you don't allow yourself to care?
No, I honestly think like most people enjoy cheese and don't care if that means a cow dies because of it or a cow is raped because of it to produce milk.
To be
rape
fair,
in quotes.
If cows were
I think
actually
rape
raped, I'd probably be
little-
against it.
I think rape is a little far to say that.
Well, no, but
cow is raped.
that's the terminology vegans use. You're raping a cow. Well, at least some vegans use that language. And I would say most humans on this planet are okay with raping cows to get cheese.
I don't think they are. I think if they were actually
Are they saying that just
presented with the knowledge, they would
because of
probably
the
would.
Oh, really? You think
artificial
they are just?
insemination part?
Yeah, that's where I'm talking about the artificial.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but you think they're just lacking knowledge that most people don't realize where cheese comes from?
Yeah, I think that they may have been told it, but once they're like told it enough and like they
cheese
actually
comes from a
think about
cheese
it,
tree.
they're- Yeah.
You go in the garden
Well,
and
I
pulling
don't
cheese
think
off the
that most
leaf.
idea-
people.
they have
I don't
this
think that
idea
most
that
people
they-
have like. Yeah, like I'm sorry, Ryan. Were you saying something?
Well, I think they have this idea that like twice a day, the cow like walks in a circle while it's milked or something, and then the milk is like clean, and the cow goes back outside. And
Well, you could be right,
whatever
Ryan.
has,
Like everybody here knows, though, in order for a cow to produce milk, it has to get pregnant, and then you have to keep milking it in order to have that milk keep coming, right? Everybody knows that here?
Yeah.
This is not common
People are
Yeah, I
knowledge?
think everyone knows that, but I
though.
don't think everyone really thinks about like the process behind like the cheese that they see in front of them. At the
I mean, it's the
supermarket. I
same
think
reason
most
people
just
buy
say,
stuff
"Oh,
from.
cheese." I grab it and then I buy it. You know, I don't
It's
really-
the same
I don't
reason
think
people
most
buy
people
stuff
really
from
think about.
companies that use sweatshops with kids, right? Like no one would do that if that shop was like down the street from them. It's because they're detached from the process.
The farm I worked at years ago wasn't a dairy farm. The cows that we raised were mainly for, meat,
Beef.
mainly.
Steers.
Yeah, that's the idea. Steers, yeah.
Steer.
Everybody here knows the difference between a steer and a heifer,
A red heifer is what Israel needs.
or a bull and a heifer. You got bulls, steers, heifers, cows. Maybe, Ryan, we should go on a cow tour across the world and educate people.
Yeah, well, I've written a paper. I'll post in the chat. It's a one-pager with about 13 or 14 university citations
Nobody's going to read
about
your
why
paper.
beef is better. Why beef
Is that the
is
one you
better
wrote with Mythos?
Why beef is better
Yeah,
than what?
than any
Yeah.
other form of meat in terms of environmentally, ethically,
Oh.
however you want to cut it. I mean, maybe in
Actually, I
terms of
might read
health,
it. Yeah, post
no,
it. I might read that.
More than chicken, because like I recently saw a bunch of sources that say that like chicken would lead to like less CO2 emissions in totality.
I am no
Yeah.
animal rights activist by any stretch of imagination, but I will say this: they do have a point on factory farming. Factory farming is fucking awful. Pardon my French.
Thank you.
Oh, we got a female
Yeah, this
here.
produces a worse
How
product.
did that happen?
Hi, Doug.
Hi, Whitney. Welcome.
You remember me? We had
Yeah,
a really nice conversation not long ago.
we did? About what?
We did, yeah. You shared that your brother-in-law saw you naked, I think.
What? Oh,
Well, I
you
said
asked.
it. I mean, you said
Oh,
it,
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
me.
You're the buttocks girl. I mean, I said the word buttocks, and you thought that was gay or something, right?
Well, it was a little,
Yeah,
I'm
you thought
who am I to judge?
you thought I was talking too effeminate or something,
I
something
don't
like that.
think that was the case, but now that you mention it, you
Yeah,
do sound a little camp, as they say.
I'm in touch with my sexuality, Whitney.
I think it might just be that you're Canadian or whatever.
Yeah, Canadians are
you
weird.
just
Are you saying
say it
you're-
again.
Are you saying you're a deeply closeted gay man, Doug?
I'm not going to say I'm a gay man because I'm closeted.
A woman.
You know that
today Doug comes out as the first black female woman.
it's a Norm Macdonald joke. Yeah. For those of you know.
Yeah, I assume you picked
up
on
that. Okay, I posted it in the chat. There you go.
Okay.
You guys can look at that shit. It's a one-pager because I know you guys on Discord. You'll only have. It's not even a one-pager because of all the citations.
Actually, Ryan, I've been thinking recently. Oh yeah, damn! I need to read my paper. You really said this to me a while ago, so I'm actually gonna get to that right now.
Yeah, sure you are, you piece of shit.
I'm just so happy we got a token female here.
No, I'm actually going to get to it right now.
Yeah, I'm here for representation, not much else.
Yeah, in fact, I think since you're our token female here tonight, we should the conversation should be centered around you because I feel sorry-for-ism for women. You do identify as a woman, I assume.
I do, yeah.
Okay, well, great.
Do we need to check in?
That makes things easier.
How valid? For how long is that label valid for? Is it?
That's a good point, Ryan. Because I've known people who've called themselves trans who are no longer trans. So when someone says I'm a real woman, I'm a trans woman, I sometimes think in my head, well, for now.
I don't have any immediate plans to transition. I was assigned female at birth, as they say.
Well, okay, let's see if you're really a woman, okay, Whitney? Do you like poker?
No.
Okay, yes. When you hear a baby cry, do you look?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a woman. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't worried about it. You seem to be.
No, I'm doing. Ryan seemed to be. So we're just.
Now, what if you found out that I was a big dykey lesbian? Would that be bothersome? Would I still count as a token female?
How big?
Maybe not too big. Maybe like 230. So like husky.
Yeah, women who are 230 pounds scare me.
Depends upon the height.
Because that's more than what I weigh. Are you really 5'11"?
Oh, see, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of leg to shave.
That's terrifying.
Subhanallah is what we would say in Arabic. Subhanallah.
Am I allowed to say that?
Oh, you're Ryan, are you an Arab man?
I may be, yes.
Well, as a lesbian woman, we're mortal enemies, I think.
Are you really lesbian?
I'm Lesbianese, so it's perfect. I'm Lesbianese.
Whitney, are you really a lesbian? Or are you just saying that? Because
what does it matter?
Well, because I like lesbians.
Representation, don't you?
No, like I gotta be careful what I say. But yeah, I've had great experiences with lesbians.
This is your server. Why do you need to be careful what you say?
Because I care about the feelings of others. Do no harm.
He's being victimized. He's being persecuted, even on his own server.
It's not that Hippocratic oath.
I just care about people, Whitney. Don't hate me for being loving.
Which people do you care about the most?
Oh, that's easy. You can guess.
Your daughters.
I have one daughter, one son, one wife. There you go.
Oh, your son, obviously.
What's that? You're making me choose between my daughter and my son? Get ye behind me, Satan.
Well,
yeah, you are a woman.
If you had to choose, there's a gun to your head. There's a gun to your head. Who do you choose?
I'm not answering that, Whitney, and you know why.
You have, but when I ask the question,
this is Doug's choice.
No. Respect. Just say no. Respect the no. Pretend this is like a scene of coitus, and you got to respect my decision to say no.
For Doug.
Don't do violence with words on me, Whitney.
Well, I think it's beautiful that you would say your son before your daughter.
I never said that.
You grew up on a farm, Doug. That's the way it goes.
No.
Well,
if you want to go Freudian, I'm not saying this. But if you want to go Freudian, then you would choose the daughter. Right? Don't you know your psychology, Whitney?
Not particularly well, no.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. He's that Christian. He would have sacrificed the son to Yahweh if he was commanded to.
Who has the highest level of education here? Let's get real.
Well, I'm a woman, so it's not me.
I feel that the 180 great courses that I took provided me with a better education than my actual degree. So I would just argue, I want you to count because it's like quasi-academic, like those like 12 to 24 hour
but you don't have a
courses.
degree, right, Ryan?
I do have a degree, but
you do. Okay.
But
it's in
what I'm
Baskin
trying to
Robbins.
say is that I learned like far more from these courses.
Does anybody here have 2 degrees?
I have 2 PhDs from YouTube University.
What? Oh, you had me going.
I got an associate's in machine tooling.
I would love to talk to someone with a PhD.
I have like
or 2 masters.
2 associates of a regular degree.
I took a practice California bar and passed it my first time.
Here's a new topic: education. I am of the opinion, especially nowadays, it is hard for people to get a degree and then get a job, unless you're very specialized, like you're in pre-med or you're in medicine or maybe some lawyers.
Computer science degree.
Yeah, it's computer science degrees. But in general,
software engineering. In
general, most degrees, it's very difficult. You just can't expect to get a job immediately after graduating. However, it is much. See if you guys agree with this. It's easier to get a job coming out of high school than coming out of college. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
No. You have to get a good
it depends on what kind of job.
Yeah.
Like,
are you talking about
well-paying jobs? Not really.
No, any job.
Are you talking about the job applicable?
Just like minimum wage?
You could get like the same job without
minimum wage job
outside of college.
Oh yeah, not in high school, I guess.
Yeah, like I told my kids, and they're both working now, and I told them, they got nervous for their interviews. I said, you don't have to be nervous. You're a high school graduate. You just got out. As long as you can smile, stand up straight, you can talk better than Joe Biden, you're going to get the job. They don't expect anything from you. Like, they don't expect anything from you other than show up to work on time, do what you're told, and that's it. It is much easier to get a job at a high school than at a college.
If you could talk better than Joe Biden, you could be president.
Yeah.
Are you talking one with decent pay that has benefits? So I would disagree with that. But
actually, my son's job had benefits too. He's getting paid minimum wage, but with benefits. It was weird.
So do you think he does better than like your average computer science graduate?
No, of course not. But think of it this way. Let's say
Shouldn't that be the recommendation though?
Is that the recommendation that everybody do that? No.
On an individual level, like
on the individual level, then it would be it depends, right? Degree. Noteworthy. Then the answer would be it depends. Depends on what degree you get. Depends what type of person you are.
Yeah, I don't know if that matters too much. I'm in tech. We have people from like literally like everywhere that transition in.
Like, how many years? Like, if you take out an Excel spreadsheet and someone graduates from high school, gets a minimum wage job, but works their way up. So, in other words, they might go from this job, and because they do well in the minimum wage job, they go to another job, and then for a lot of people who specialize in something, they're getting at least a 4-year degree and sometimes 8. So let's say take an average of 6 years. And then the cost of money, you take 6 years. You know how many years it would take for that person to catch up who just graduated, assuming they get a fairly good, $60,000 job straight out of college?
We're hiring CS grads start at 150 where I'm at now. So.
Oh, really? But you're in California,
it's about
right?
Getting the right degree. No, I'm in the Midwest.
Really? 150 in the Midwest? Okay, Midwest means Chicago, right?
Yep. No.
Where are you? Oh, you don't want to say. That's fine.
I'm in Nebraska. Yeah.
You're in Nebraska and they're paying 150 out of college?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And what degree are they hiring?
Computer science.
Huh. That's pretty good.
I mean, you can start higher than that if you go to like Fang level, and like the Valley or
no,
like
150,
or
150
like
in Nebraska is like 300 in LA.
I mean, so my friend Sub-Zero is a physician. He's only making 120 in a similar situation. That's crazy. A fucking CS degree is gonna pay you more than being a doctor.
Well, isn't it expensive to live in LA or anywhere in California for that matter?
It wasn't LA. He said Nebraska.
Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those companies are remote, though. I mean, it's declined quite a bit, but I mean, there for a while, like every CS company was remote. Like, it was a pretty good gig. I don't know why you wouldn't push your kid into something like tech engineering. Like, I feel like the payback on that is pretty astronomical compared to like trying to work your way up.
I agree, but the thing is, like, it's obvious you're not a father.
Unless we're talking small business.
You just can't.
If they're small business, then
you got to remember that these little flowers of life that you produce have free will of their own and have choices of their own. And like, for example, my son likes musical theater, my daughter likes education. Both don't pay well, and so you just can't push your child into what is the highest paying industry.
Doug, did you say that your son works at a country club?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, sorry, I didn't say that now, but he is working at a very fancy resort.
Yeah, I thought you'd mentioned something like that. I feel like you're going to hit a ceiling at that point. Like he can advance to a certain point, but there's just a jump from kind of that level of employment into the corporate world that it's difficult to bridge without a degree.
Yeah, I understand that.
I don't see how that's more in line with him being into theater, like working at a country club versus going to college. And
it isn't.
Like, I feel like college has way more to offer in terms of like extracurricular.
I feel like a good move for like your son might have been like finance or something like that. It's kind of like the same skill set. So like I wouldn't think about like jobs as having like like somebody wants to do something. I think of more like what skill set you like to like.
Right, but I understand, but the thing is, people have likes and dislikes, and you just can't. If as a father, if you force your kids into a certain area, they're going to push back, right? So you got to let them make their own choices.
But like, if it's like you can like tell them that this might be a good opinion. Like you wanna have a good balance that like if you get some higher education in one area, it might open you up to more opportunities in the future. So like, if you still want to do like other things as well, yeah, you can. But like, if you can always have something as like a backup plan if like that does not work. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is, like my education, I have 3 degrees. I didn't pay a dime tuition, and so then it was very easy. But for most people, they have to pay for this. And then the question becomes, is it worth it? Are you getting value for that degree as opposed to spending that time and money on something else?
Yeah, obviously that's your child's decision, but like, bringing it up and kind of like encouraging that kind of mindset is still a good thing, I'd say.
Protector of Hashem, you sound like you could be, you could very easily impersonate Rocky Balboa in Rocky 1. Can you say, yo, Adrian, for me?
Yo, Adrian.
There you go.
No, I haven't watched that. I haven't watched that movie series yet. So.
Are you a serious Muslim?
No, I'm not even Muslim, bro.
Are you a serious Jew?
No, I'm Christian, but like I like this figure in Islam called Ali. Like
you mean Prince Ali?
No. There's this like caliph called Ali, like Ali ibn Abi Talib. Like he's like the 4th caliph of Islam. Like he's just genuinely a good dude, and like You know, like I aspire to be like him. So.
Okay.
You like him because you're gay.
So you're
No.
you're probably the only Christian here, but maybe not. Are you're okay with being around atheists?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Most of my friends are atheists.
Huh. Well, most of my friends are Christians, so we got that in common.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably because like you kind of grew up in that condition, right? Like I live in like the West Coast, so it's kind of like, you know, just like kind of like people here like less religious, and that's fine to me. So.
How did you find my channel as a Christian? Through your atheist
I don't
friends?
know. I just stumbled upon like digital gnosis and like, just found your channel.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. His squad is kind of unusual a little bit, but you know, this is what it is.
How you doing, Whitney? Sorry, we stopped talking about you. Are you okay? We got to keep the token female active here. Are you still?
I'm fine.
You're fine.
Yeah.
Is there
Would
any?
you believe I'm cooking? Would you believe that?
Oh, you're really a woman. I like you, Whitney. You would make an amazing heterosexual.
I'll take a mac and cheese.
Nah, women don't exist on the internet. She's probably a tranny.
It's not. We don't use that word anymore.
What word? Heterosexual?
Trans.
Oh.
Wait. You can't tell us not to say faggot because we like to say it.
Well, you can say faggot because you're a faggot, but the rest of us don't have that luxury.
Things change so fast, man. Like
identity based.
5 years, there's like this new subset of the population I have to like consider my speech and like.
Well, you know what? You don't really anything, do you?
That's true.
Let's play a game with Whitney here for a second.
I want to be as kind as possible.
Hang on, Protector of Hashem. Let's play a game here. We're all going to guess what Whitney does for a living, and whoever's closest wins 1,000 Pine points. Are you willing to play, Whitney? Are you willing to say what you actually do for a living when we're done?
Sure.
Okay. So who wants to go first? Gum chewer, you haven't said a word yet, and just guess an occupation. Don't be shy, gum chewer. You can do it.
Of the woman.
Of Whitney.
Of the female.
Okay, gum chewer is too shy. How about not?
Just call her the woman.
Oh, gum chewer's back.
Gum chewer had to get his headset unmuted.
Okay, so gum chewer.
I think Whitney is a bricklayer.
Great guess.
Okay, we got bricklayer.
Bricklayer's crazy.
Not. What do you think?
Where did Whitney say? What region did she say she's in? Is she in Midwest?
Am I in the Midwest? Do I sound like I'm in the Midwest?
Yeah, no, questions. You got to just get.
No questions. Okay,
yeah.
No questions. Psychology. Something with
great guess, but no.
Hey, wait! You're not supposed to say anything until the end, okay?
Okay.
Noteworthy, Mr. Logic Man. Logic Men don't take guesses.
I can't remember if she said she had a degree or not. So I'm going to say retail because there's like millions of people in retail.
Can you be a little more specific? Like, do you think she sells cars or clothing or?
Well, no, because it's just statistically. Like, I feel like that's one of the larger occupations.
Okay, my turn. I'm going to guess.
If you force me,
I'm going to guess she does something in advertising. Protector of Hashem.
My thoughts. Probably like fashion or something.
Fashion? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty common.
Ryan?
I'm gonna say like something like organizational, like HR. I don't know.
HR? That's a great guess. Sasha?
I think she's in retail or the service industry, maybe like restaurants or runs a coffee shop.
Bartender sort of thing. Try ARC.
I think she's probably in consulting, legal consulting, maybe.
Legal consulting, that's specific. Okay, Whitney, who was the closest?
You were the closest, Doug. I work in marketing.
Yes, I can tell. I can tell by. You know why I guess that? Because of your voice and your choice of words and your cadence. I see you as a woman who holds herself very well with poise, and so therefore you'd be good at advertising. But you would also be good in retail too.
I have worked in retail. I've worked in the service industry. I've worked in retail. I was a teacher for a while.
Okay, I guess I give myself 1,000 pine points. I got my fingers on the pulse of the nation.
What's a pine point?
Oh, come on, Whitney. Do I have to boot you?
I don't know.
What disrespect. You don't know what a pine point is?
No, I don't.
I guess I shouldn't be so mad at the ignorant. Pine points, in case you didn't notice, my name is PineCreek Doug. And
I do know that about.
And Pine Points is a rewards program for loyal and faithful followers, just like Project 2025, loyalty. If you show loyalty to me above and beyond the Constitution even, you can earn Pine Points. And if once you hit 1 million Pine Points, you get a free, all-expense-paid trip with me to the beautiful Tropicana Casino and Spa in Las Vegas, Nevada.
That doesn't sound...
Which has now been blown up.
You see, that's why I took a silly guess as a bricklayer, because the very first show that I was able to be the first one on the show on YouTube was the show where PineCreek said no more Pine Points.
Oh, that was you.
Watching.
That was you. Yeah. And Whitney, you would like this about me because I got rid of Pine Points because I did not want it to become a cult. I did not want to be treated like the orange man in the White House.
That's not true. They're obsolete.
That's not true. You was trying to control inflation.
Yeah, I thought it was an inflation issue. Wasn't it quantitative easing?
Oh, and noteworthy, Nathan stole that idea from me. In fact, a lot of different YouTubers stole that idea from me. And
I think he intentionally says he does, though, because he talks about converting Nathan Nichols to Pine Points.
Yeah. See, all these young kids, YouTube creators, they look to me to lead the way.
In fairness, I think they funnel a lot of viewers to you too, though, like Nathan and James, and
no,
they just came and don't really.
No, they got no viewers. They got no viewers.
They don't stream as much as you do. You play the streaming game more than Nathan does.
Yeah.
When I Google PineCreek Doug, I see a Reddit post that says, "What do you ex-atheists think of PineCreek YouTube channel?"
Oh,
people are not. They're not very charitable. Well, I find him boring. Just the same boring gotcha questions over and over to different religious people.
These are atheists talking, right? Like, Whitney, you got to remember that I would say 66 2/3% of atheists do not like me. In fact, they really dislike me.
Why?
Because I'm conservative. I don't toe the progressive line. That's why.
So, you used to be a fundamentalist Christian?
Yeah. But I also was for a while I went through stages. I've been in so many different denominations. So I wouldn't say I was a fundamentalist Christian like all the time and then boom, one day I was out.
What made you lose your faith?
By really understanding other people and why they don't believe what I believe, and really understanding the arguments against my position. And asking the what's more likely question. What's more likely, that Jesus Christ rose from the dead in bodily form, or that people write up stories?
And you losing your faith, what came later in your life?
Yeah, 35. It's when it started, and I was out by 40.
Okay.
Honestly, for me, I just don't take the world that seriously, so...
We can tell.
Yeah.
But you take Christianity seriously, don't you, Hashem?
I mean, the way I live my life and my personal experience,
Oh, don't tell me you sleep around.
I met I'm saying I met different people that have different views, and I like to keep an open mind and...
Oh, by the way, I guess I should have said this. Hang on, before you say more, I should have.
Yeah.
I should mention to everyone here I'm live, by the way.
I see.
I don't think anything has been said that's been too personal. So,
right? For sure,
I'm surprised you didn't get booted from YouTube with some of the words people were dropping there.
What?
Oh, YouTube?
What words have we said that were bad? Retard?
Dude, I have no filter, bro.
I feel like someone dropped the F word.
Oh, like people have this.
That was me. Yeah, that was me. My bad.
People have this fear of YouTube that
we just edited out after. Right?
Yeah, people have this fear of YouTube that they will shut you down or whatever. I've said so many things, controversial things, and have allowed people to say things on my channel. And I remember my first year, I got a lot of those yellow warnings, but I haven't had any warnings for years. Well, maybe one in the last 2 years. I think YouTube likes me.
How long ago did you start the stream? Because I think after a certain time period, it's like they don't care. They don't.
I started it
F-bombs.
56 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think after a certain point, I don't think they really care that much about F-bombs. But
no,
what do I know?
So, PineCreek, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In light of your earlier comment about some trans people detransitioning or not being trans anymore, and in light of you having changed your faith or losing your faith, do you think it is would be possible that one day you would become or transition from ultra conservative to possible ultra liberal?
As I always say, anything's possible in the magical kingdom, but I don't think so.
Like, how do you know that, like, your conservative views is based on your fundamentalist upbringing? Like, why haven't you deconstructed that as well?
I would say that my conservative views are more because of not my religious fundamentalist upbringing, but more my rural upbringing. And this is why you see many rural people vote right and many urban people vote left, and then suburbs are somewhere in the middle, is because when you're raised in isolation on a farm, the closest neighbor might be a mile or more away, and something goes wrong, you're on your own. This is why you got to problem solve. You see direct causal links between action and consequence. And so,
but there's also a link between like being rural and like being like religious, because like
that too, yeah.
Because like in the city, right, you got other people to help you, right? But like if you're like in a rural area, you're all alone, right?
Well, it's true, and
you might need a friend out there.
Like farmers often pray for rain, right? Like they still think that by praying they can get a better crop in.
Oh, personally though, I think Buddhism, like what they have as their claims, like there's a lot that their framework kind of like allows to be possible, right?
I gotta ask, Hashem, have you been drinking tonight?
No, I have not. I sound like I'm drunk all the time, but like I swear to you, I'm not.
Because you're a little bit like Biden right now, but it's okay. You're fine. But yeah.
What's your view of farm subsidies, Doug? You think farmers are welfare queens?
Some of them, yeah. I'm against farming subsidies. That's a shocker, right?
I wasn't sure. You grew up in Canada, didn't you? I don't know what they're...
Yeah, no, they have subsidies just like the U.S. They have feel sorry for farmers, yep.
I'd more call it the massive farm lobby rather than feel sorry.
Dang on corn lobbyists.
Yeah, I think you should like subsidize as much as you can so people can help themselves. But anything more than that,
when I was
becomes counterproductive.
When I was 8 years old, I remember, maybe I was 8, 9 in there somewhere. I remember a farmer coming to our farm and talking to my dad and whining and complaining that he wasn't getting enough money for his crops. And I remember looking at this farmer who was complaining about the price of per bushel of wheat was too low, and that he hardly got any farm subsidies from the government. And I don't know exactly the words I said to this guy, but I said, maybe you're just a bad farmer, and you should plant something else. And so this is how I was raised by my dad. Is like, instead of complaining about the price of the per bushel wheat price, maybe you take responsibility that you planted the wrong crop that year.
Did they not subsidize insurance like they do in the U.S., like massive farm insurance subsidies?
Maybe, I don't remember. But again, I'm against it.
So you don't think something like that's a bigger issue than like trans? But it seems like you have to struggle to even find like a single news story on trans stuff. Meanwhile, we're burning all this money on.
Oh, you want me to talk about farm subsidies instead of trans issues?
I'm just curious. Like it seems like all of these, like Nathan calls them like heterodox right wing kind of people, all tend to jump on the same topics kind of at the same time. I find it interesting.
I think people think I talk about trans way more than I actually do. In fact, go on my channel tonight or tomorrow and go through all the videos, all the shorts I have, count up how many times I talk about trans versus like how many videos I have where the main topic is trans. Like even live streams, I do like 2 to 3 hour live streams. I might talk about trans for like half an hour of that 3 hours, and that's maybe every third live stream. And then people like you come on and say, why are you always talking about trans? I don't always talk about trans. But
would you say it's proportional to how how much it impacts your life, like the amount you talk about it?
Almost nothing I talk about impacts my life. Seriously.
Christianity doesn't?
No, not really. And I'm being very honest with you.
Even though like your wife's Christian and
my wife and I don't talk about Christianity. Almost like very, very rarely.
Well, but I would think it'd still have a pretty big impact on your life, just even from a political standpoint in the U.S.
How? What are you talking about?
You don't think religion impacts politics in the U.S.? We're
talking about my life, you said. Yes, it impacts politics.
Yeah, I said which in turn impacts your life, right?
Do you know me better than me? I'm telling you, it doesn't impact my life.
I would just assume. I guess I find that hard to believe that politics don't impact your life at all.
You said religion impacting, Christianity impacting my life.
No, I said religion impacts politics, which impacts your life.
But I'm not religious.
Right, but the religion impacts politics, which then impacts you. So you kind of.
I would say even most politics don't impact my life. The most direct thing is taxation. And I would say that's true for most people on most issues. Most politics do not directly affect people personally. That's why I love asking the question, how did Trump hurt you personally? Most people can't give an answer to that. Other than that, well, he causes division in my family because we get in fights talking about him. That's an answer, but that's on them, not on Trump. Most governments
severely eroded the political discourse, which I think is terrible. Like he's contributed a lot.
Oh, see, this is the difference between you and me, and this is why I think religion has no part of my conservatism. It's more personal responsibility. When two people get in a fight at Thanksgiving dinner on, let's say, Trump or Biden, and they get and it causes huge division in their family, that's their fault, not Biden's fault, not Trump's fault. That is the people involved, their fault.
I mean, that's a pretty overly simplistic analysis.
Oh, it's very simplistic, but it's very true.
Nationwide.
Because
no, it's not.
Because I think, of course, it's true. There's people who lean left, who lean right, who are even married to each other and vote differently, and can have a wonderful marriage, a wonderful family. So, what is the difference? The difference is the people making the choices, and it's communists like you who think it's always the government's fault. Oh, and you're always whining, always complaining. It's never my fault. It's never my family's fault. It's always the government's fault. You need to grow up, Noteworthy, and take responsibility for your actions. Can I get an amen from the audience?
I think it's incredibly...
I don't think that he said that it's only the government that's the issue. I think he's saying it could be part of it.
Okay, yeah, good point. What part? How much?
Yeah, I think it's naive.
Okay, Noteworthy, that's a great point. An argument during Thanksgiving about Trump, let's say, it causes a division within a family during Thanksgiving. What we got two? Let's just put two factors in for now. Factor one, it's Trump's fault. Factor two, it's the people involved in the argument's fault. Where do you put your allocation? 90-10, 80-20, 50-50?
I don't know how you could possibly quantify that.
Yes. Too simplistic, right?
Well, no, I just don't know how you would, how would you quantify that?
Use your intuitions. Use your gut. Who do you blame more, the people or the president?
I don't think my intuitions are reliable.
You're so
I need to see
you're
evidence.
so noble.
I guess
you're so noble. I mean, you're so worthy of worship. You know,
this is just
everything is about the evidence.
Right? Yeah, you're fantastic at rhetoric there, Doug. I mean, do you have evidence that intuitions are reliable on something like that? Like picking a number like that?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
No, that was a serious. You don't have to respond sarcastically. I was being serious. If you do have evidence, I'd be curious to see it.
It's not an evidence-based type question. I'm asking you. I'm letting you know this is an intuition type question. This is a values question. This is where are you coming from type question. And the fact that you won't even answer it tells me, well, you probably. I bet you anything your answer is going to be, if you had the guts to answer a question like this, is, yeah, it's probably 80% the people's fault and 20% the president, because he is very divisive. But you can't do that.
Was the reason that I gave that I didn't have the guts to, or did I give a different reason?
No, that's my perception of you. I think you're a coward.
It sounds to me like what Noteworthy values is being honest about his lack of knowledge on something.
See, watch this. Watch this.
And I think...
Watch this, Noteworthy. Hey, McNitz, I've never talked to you before, I don't think, right? McNitz?
I don't know if we've talked personally. I've typed in your chat some.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the exact same question I asked to Noteworthy to you. There's a fight Thanksgiving dinner. It's about the President of the United States. How much of that fight that causes division among a family is the president's fault, and how much is the people involved's fault? 90-10, 50-50? 20-80? Give me your gut intuition allocation.
I'd probably give it a range, like a 95% confidence interval sounds more reasonable to me, but I'd say maybe 5 to 15.
5 to 15% whose fault?
The government, sorry.
Okay.
Let's take a vote.
Okay, so I just want to Noteworthy, did you see what just happened there? Why do you think McNitz could do it and you couldn't?
Because I think I have better justification for why I don't want to give a number.
You're a better person.
Bollocks.
No. I think the justification is better.
Yeah, you're a better person who has better justification.
Better justification, that doesn't mean better person.
Yeah.
I could be a shitty person.
I would take a person who has better justifications. I mean, if there's a person who has horrible justifications and a person who has better justifications, I'm going to go with you.
That's an empirical claim, right? You could ask.
It's not an empirical claim.
For that number.
I'm asking you to guess. I'm asking you to use your intuitions and just state what you think. This is what paralyzes some atheists like you. You're so scared that everything has to be so evidence-based that it paralyzes you from even making a guess.
I don't know why you keep making this rhetorical move of making it sound like I'm scared of you.
I
gave you my justification.
What's going on
what
here?
What is your feeling? Knowing that you don't actually know it. Just what do you feel? I think Doug is trying to get to your feelings, not what you know. You don't know what you feel?
No, I honestly don't know what the number would be. I don't have a feeling of a number. I don't quite understand people.
Are you in general against guessing?
In general, I'm against having nuanced intuitions where you recognize where your intuitions are strong. So I think my intuitions are good if someone throws a baseball at me, guessing the speed of the baseball, where it's going to come, stuff that evolution has tuned our intuitions for. When it comes to stuff like William Lane Craig,
you sound like a robot.
Origins of the universe, or people.
No,
do you think our intuitions don't work that way, where they're sometimes really good and sometimes really bad?
Yes, I agree. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad. Yep.
Okay.
I guess
So do you
what
think
I
this
would
is an
feel
instance?
Isn't
where
the
they're
I have a
really-
question. I have a question. Not whether do you feel like if Trump wins the election, it'll be bad? Do you feel that?
I guess I don't know what you mean by bad. I mean, I think there's some bad stuff would happen, some good stuff would happen. You'd have to get more details.
So you
probably.
can make. Are you guessing? How are you working that out?
No, I think my intuitions there are more reasonable because I have his past political record as a thing to base the intuitions on. I think that's.
Have you had past
reasonable
interactions
to extrapolate from
with?
that.
Have you had past interactions in Thanksgiving?
Yes, but not. I haven't had past interactions with assigning, a number and quantifying somehow, like how to assign units of blame, whether it's an individual or.
I mean,
I don't even know how would you even determine that like
so
two people fight at Thanksgiving and you have hold on, let me just unpack this for a second.
Okay.
Two people fight at Thanksgiving and one person proposes the hypothesis that it's their fault because they're individuals, and another person proposes the hypothesis that it's their fault because Trump sows division in society and that impacts these people and causes them to fight. How would you differentiate between those two? And then say it was like a combination. How would you?
I can tell you, Noteworthy.
90-80 instead of 70-10, like 70-30. How would you differentiate?
Noteworthy. I can answer that question. So, for example, let's take it off that specific example, and let's say I'm about to boot Sasha from this channel. No offense, Sasha, but I've never really liked you. Okay, so let me ask you this: I'm going to boot Sasha. Is it more the president's fault or more my doing? What's the ratio? 90-10, 50-50, 100-0?
I would think probably 100-0 in that case.
Well, look how easy that was for you to answer. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, because
you could have said the president.
That's not an analysis. Are you claiming that?
Okay, Noteworthy, this is baby steps. Now we're going to take another baby step. The reason why I'm about to boot Sasha from this Discord channel is because yesterday he said something very negative towards Trump that I strongly disagreed with. I mean, it really bothered me. So I'm going to boot him. Now, same question. What percentage blame do you put on Trump versus me for booting him? A little tougher, isn't it? Come on, Noteworthy, you can do it.
I mean, I feel like as soon as you get off 100, where like the person isn't involved at all. I mean, so like say I said 95-5 or say I say 90-10. Which one of those is better and why?
It doesn't matter. There's no right answer.
No. See, that's what I'm getting at is I don't have a methodology for differentiating.
Okay, but
I do when you're talking 100-0. There's a methodology.
But Noteworthy, you notice what you did?
Discord at all.
Qualitatively, even though we're using numbers, you're still qualitatively giving me an answer here because the first answer you gave me was 100-0. Now, when I said it's about Trump, you brought it down to 95-5. Now let's bring it to the Thanksgiving dinner.
No, hold on, Doug, because you completely missed my point. I didn't bring it down to 95-5. What I asked you is I asked what if I said 95-5 or I said 90-10, which one of those would be the better answer and why? Because I don't know. I don't have a methodology. I have a methodology like for figuring out when it's 100-0, right? Like if the person isn't involved at all, like Trump not being in this Discord, for me it's pretty easy in that situation to say 100-0 because there's literally no causal considerations whatsoever. As soon as you move off that, I would need to hear a methodology.
Noteworthy. Would it be fair to say it's 100-0, saying that I'm booting him because of what he said about Trump? Why don't you say 100-0 there?
No, because in that case you are saying you're bringing
okay. So forget about the numbers.
I don't know how to quantify.
Right, the numbers are bothering you. So get rid of the numbers. You're just saying now, there's some responsibility given to Trump now, right? Right?
Yeah, assuming you do that and you're being honest about why you're booting somebody.
Good.
I mean, personally, I don't think you would probably boot somebody because they said
we're making progress. So now
making up a situation.
Now it's Thanksgiving dinner, and there's a fight because of Trump. Do you say it's all Trump's fault? Forget about numbers.
I don't think I've ever said that.
I know, but would you say that?
No, I wouldn't, and I haven't.
Good. So now you're saying some of it is the people's fault and some of it's Trump's fault, correct?
Yeah, correct. That was my whole thing, right?
Okay, good. Good. Now for the $1 million question. Which is bigger in your opinion, the fault of Trump or the fault of the people? In your opinion,
I don't know.
You don't know. You're completely agnostic on it.
Yeah,
really
give me a methodology. Yeah, give me a methodology for quantifying that, and I'll.
How about a personal experience?
I'm fine with that.
Do you believe that people do things and say things that affect them?
Yes.
Okay, so if I say to my sister during Thanksgiving, "You're an idiot if you don't vote for Trump," and that causes her to get mad at me, that's something I did, right? I uttered the words. It caused a reaction in her of anger. Right?
Yeah. Would you have done that if Trump never would have ran for president?
I could have done it about a different president, any president.
But you wouldn't have done it about Trump.
I could have done it about dogs, and she loves dogs, and let's say I hate dogs. It could be anything. The point is that I have done or said something that is I'm responsible for.
And it's completely devoid of any context that would
implicate
anybody else whatsoever in causing you to say that.
What? I mean, if you want to go that way,
Trump has not eroded political discourse at all. Congratulations. That genius take.
If you want to go that way, though, couldn't you just blame PineCreek drinking water for why he had an argument then? Because you can't take an absolute zero on the water being what caused PineCreek to have the argument, or the air he breathed at that moment.
I have a lot of empirical experience with water, and so I think I have a pretty reasonable intuition there that like drinking water does not cause people to argue, like unless we're talking about like, places that
if someone commits murder, should they
don't have drinking water kind of thing.
If someone commits murder, should they be put in jail? Noteworthy.
Yes, but I think probably so for different reasons than you probably think so.
Do you think these should be held responsible for murdering?
I mean,
yes,
more
but again, for different
reasons.
reasons.
Actual, causal question.
Yeah, for me, it's for the pragmatic reasons, not any kind of like.
Do you think we can blame?
Like,
that
I'm
person?
not a moral realist.
Do you think we could look at that person who murdered someone? Let's say it's first-degree murder. Let's say it's gang related. Even it's like random. In order to be part of the gang, you got to shoot at some random person, and they do, and then we catch them. Can we say bad person? Well, you did a bad thing. Would you be okay with that?
Are you asking blame, or are you using bad in like a moral sense there?
Yeah, you are a bad moral person for doing that. Let's say the father of the slain said that to the gang member. Would you be okay with the father saying that? I'm just seeing how deep this runs in you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between like pragmatic morals that I'm okay with like accepting, but I don't think there's like further justification. Like I don't know if you're familiar with like a Lance Bush, but I would kind of take his approach to like morality is just grounded in my personal preferences. Like insofar that
you can't even say that. I mean,
father to have their.
Do you think humans are accountable for their actions?
No, hold on. What did you say I couldn't say, Doug?
You can't even say that it would be okay for a father of a murdered son to say.
Oh no, that's totally okay.
It is okay for the father to say bad person.
Yeah, because it's in line with my moral preferences. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can hold humans accountable then. You can. They have agency. You can hold them accountable.
You can. You can hold them accountable. But to me, accountable just is like in line with my preferences, right? Like I don't think there's some kind of like.
And that's what my Thanksgiving
aligning with or something.
That's what my Thanksgiving dinner was all about. That question, it was your preference. It had nothing to do with, I don't have any scientific, reliable method of answering your question, Doug, so I cannot answer it.
Well, you can't really have a preference for a fact.
Well, but no.
We're asking what the fact of the matter was.
I have a counter. If parents of the children are they take drugs. I mean, the kid takes drugs. Mm-hmm. Can the parents blame his friends?
Yeah, I would assign different probabilities. So I would put still the most blame on the son himself for taking the drugs, and then I'd put some blame on his friends. I'd put some blame on the parents too.
Yeah.
I'd put blame on the drug dealer. Like you can allocate blame in many different ways.
So it's not always 100%.
No, and I'm not saying that. It's always, in fact, like January 6th is a great example. I always get in arguments with people on this. In fact, I was playing poker the other day and I got in an argument with a left-leaning guy. And I said, for me, the January 6th protesters who went in and broke the windows and that sort of thing, I put the blame, the most blame on them, because there was over 100,000 people there that day. 2,000 roughly went in, and 2%. And some of them loved and idolized Trump and didn't go in. So I put the blame on the people first, then I would put it on the Capitol Police second, and I would put it on Trump third.
Do you think they were Antifa? Or?
Oh, it would not shock me if some of them were. It would not shock me. Wouldn't be the first time, in my opinion.
It's not beneath them to infiltrate a group like that.
How you doing, Whitney? A token female check. I got to make sure you're doing fine. Can we get you a beverage or?
Doing well, thanks. I got my water. I'm good. Appreciate you.
You finished your cooking?
I have, yep.
What'd you make?
Ramen noodles.
Okay, now I'm doubting your womanhood.
Well, I added some aromatics and, a little bit of fish sauce, some vegetables.
Let me guess, you made some toast. You made some toast with that ramen noodles, right?
Maybe it's Japanese.
It was good. You would never know that it was from a packet.
See, I'm treating Whitney so nicely here because I wanted to set an example to any other women who might be listening, just how well you'll be treated if you hop into my Discord, because it's only like traditionally 10% women go into these type of Discords.
Doug, I have a question for you. So now that you are an atheist, whenever you run into people and you
Can you turn down your gain?
Yeah, sure. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever you run into new people in public, and they end up talking a lot about God to you, do you not make friends with these kinds of people because you judge their thinking, or does it not bother you?
Doesn't bother me one way or another. In fact, when they bring up God, I don't feel the need to even push back or start an SC session with them or anything like that. I was different maybe 10 years ago, but nowadays, no. It's like...
Okay.
You got to remember that some people need this. Some people need religion. I'd say most people need religion to have a sense of identity, to have a foundation for things like morality. They just need it. And a lot of atheists need things like secular humanism and a big government. So they got this safety net because they can't pray to a god to bail them out when things go bad. So they need a government to do it.
I could argue existence of demons from materialist point of view.
Argue the existence of demons for what purpose?
From materialist point of view.
Montreal's point of view? Is his translate?
Materialist.
Materialist. Oh, materialist worldview.
Oh, sorry. English is not my first language.
That's okay.
I think that demons are just patterns of behavior that appear in humans because we share the same hardware, our brains.
Oh, but then you're just changing the definition of demon. You're saying demon's not spiritual. It's just
no. Well, yeah, but in line with Jordan Peterson, spirit is just a pattern, and demons are a pattern of behaviors that lead away from Christianity.
But why use the term demon for that?
Yeah.
Because these patterns were observed, and they seem to appear in different places. The same patterns seem to appear in different people.
Do we have two females?
Right, that doesn't mean you need to call them demons.
Stacy with an I. Are you a female? Stacy? It's okay. You can come out of the weeds. Are you there, Stacy?
Yeah. Sorry, I had to find the unmute button. Yeah, I'm female.
Welcome. We have 2. Hang on, how many people do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2 out of 14. That's 1 out of 7. That's 14.28%. We have broken a record, I think, here tonight. Thank you for being here, Stacy. If we get one more female in here, I'm going to go crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Or I could just boot all the males, and another option too.
Yeah.
Doug's starting a personal harem here.
So, Stacy, what's your deal? Tell me about yourself, if you want.
Maybe another time.
Okay. Can I ask, how do you know of my channel?
I've been watching for a while.
Okay.
On YouTube.
On a scale...
Just on the Discord tonight.
Okay. Yeah, and I will make my questions very short and sweet. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're desperately in love with me, and 0, you desperately hate me. Where are you at?
Totally love you.
Okay. But you know I'm married, right?
Did not know that.
You didn't know I was married? So you're a new
No.
subscriber to my channel then, right?
Well, I never heard you talking about your wife.
You've never heard me talk about my wife?
No.
Oh. I think I've talked about her many times. Right, guys?
Yeah, not every time, but maybe once every 3 times around or something.
Yeah, I talk about my wife about the same level as trans, right?
Right.
Yeah, I would say so.
Except you don't dedicate quite as much time to it during the...
Well,
a regular viewer would know.
People always ask about how my wife and I get along because she's a Christian and I'm not. So that's usually when I talk about my wife.
Okay.
Is she delusional, Doug?
No. I thought maybe when I first met her, she was borderline because I met her at a Pentecostal church, and everybody knows about Pentecostals here, right? Like they're kind of crazy. Yeah. But
My family is one.
She actually came from a very similar background as me, not Mennonite, but very conservative, traditional. I think her mother wore her mom did wear head coverings in church. That's how traditional.
Well, you were Amish, bro. Like
Mennonite.
Basically the same thing, bro.
Hey! You watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
That's crazy, though.
Mennonites are Amish don't use electricity. Mennonites do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the relevant difference, I see.
That's one of the big differences.
You could have opted out of Social Security, Doug, if you would have stayed Mennonite.
In Canada, you can do that? Or here in the U.S.?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're Canadian. U.S., if you're part of a religious sect that like provides, it's like since 1950 or something, is like provided for elderly and stuff like that. You can opt out of Social Security.
Well, yo, doesn't Doug kind of look like an older Tintin or something like that? You know, like
an older what?
Older
now that you say it, I
Tintin.
can totally see it.
Tintin?
Tintin.
What's that?
That's why you always look familiar.
What's Tintin?
A French
You don't know
comic.
Tintin?
Tintin.
How do you spell it?
It's closer to your age.
Tintin.
It's a cartoon.
Tin. This person must be
Been out since the 80s or 60s.
Oh, that guy. Oh, come on. I'm putting up a screen capture for the YouTube people right now. What do I look anything like? Hang on, I gotta look the same way. Wait, which way is he looking?
I think it's the lighter color on the top of your hair that does it.
Maybe I do look like him. Oh, no. Yeah, I see it. But he is a cute. Tintin's cute. You gotta admit that. Looks like he has a dad bod and everything.
Doug, so what type of Christian views does your wife have?
She's pretty much like she's evangelical, born again Christian type, more leaning towards non-denominational, but she does go to a church that I think does have some type of conference and denomination. Does that answer your question? You want more detail?
Does she think you're gonna burn forever?
Yes. Well,
wow.
No, hang on. If I die a non-believer, then yes. But I think she holds that hope that I'm going to become a Christian someday.
She must be allowed to hold that marriage.
Say again?
I said she must love you a lot to hold that marriage.
Oh yeah, like what's there not to love? I mean, she hit the jackpot marrying me. Right? Tell me I'm right.
Yeah.
Someone tell me I'm right. No, we both had come back from similar backgrounds. We're both not crazy. We both lean right, so we're politically aligned there. We both value a lot of the same things. Do you
think the political alignment part is that important for your relationship?
I think for her more than me.
Really?
But I do think I think it would be stressful to marry someone who's, let's say, a far left winger marrying a far right winger. But it depends on how far they are, because the horseshoe theory, they come back around. Like I find myself agreeing with the Young Turks often, especially on the Biden issue. Like the Cenk Unger, is that his name? He said months ago, like half a year ago, that Biden is not good and that they got to get rid of him. He's losing his memory. And I said some of the same things, and it's like, yeah, you're right. And he's not like part of the establishment, and I don't feel I'm that way either. Like I'm willing to denounce my own party and say, like, stop with the Trump worship already. Like, you should not worship any human being unless they're really good looking. But other than that, no.
I think that's my one aversion to some of the MAGA crowd is that it has become a bit of a cult of personality, which historically speaking, that's never a good thing.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
And it happens on both sides too. And not so much with Biden, but with like Obama. Like people just loved him. Reagan,
yeah,
same thing. The Bushes, not so much.
Bush is so bad, bro.
JFK, I think there was a lot of idol worship there. That's why the CIA killed him, because he was loved too much.
That's true.
I wonder if Trump wears a bulletproof vest. Oh, is Sasha here? Yeah. I'm sure he has body armor, Sasha.
I don't have body armor. I'm a strong man. I work out.
Okay. You can stop a bullet with your chest, your pectoral muscles?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Hey, Stacy, is there any thing you want me to talk about? Any topic? Again, we got Stacy and Whitney are the stars of the show, and I want to make sure that they get the attention they deserve. Anything you want me to talk about?
Yeah, I don't really have any topics to throw at you.
Are you a believer or non-believer?
None.
Okay.
I'm atheist.
Okay. Most of your life?
Oh yeah, most. I'm 43.
I wonder.
I become an atheist when I was around 20.
Were your parents believers?
No.
What's that like, being raised in a non-religious home? Because I've never experienced that.
Well, I mean, I guess my mom sort of believes in God, or she just doesn't. She's not really sure, but she always sent me to church when I was younger, just to give me the experience, I guess.
Were you one of those troublemakers who would ask uncomfortable questions like Noah's Ark and what did the lions eat in the ark and that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I was also one of the kids rolling up Bible papers in the back room.
And smoking them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that brings back a bad memory. I remember I wanted to try smoking so badly as a kid that I went home one day after school. I was probably in kindergarten, grade 1, and I rolled up a toilet paper thing, the cardboard center, and I put a little bit of toilet paper in there, and I lit it up, and then I inhaled it. And I coughed for like an hour straight. That was so bad. How
Did
stupid,
you have
right?
relatives that smoked or what? Like, why would that appeal to you?
My dad smoked for a few years when I was younger. And then, this is also an interesting story. My sister, who died of MS, when she was a young teenager, she was kind of pudgy. And my dad, just to let you know the type of family I came from, my dad said, "Hey, daughter, you're pudgy. You're eating too much." And my sister said, "Okay, I will lose weight if you stop smoking." And my dad said, "Deal." And they both did it. Like, my dad quit cold turkey, and my sister was never overweight again. And I mean, this is the type of family I came from, where you set your mind to something, you do it. And it was very competitive too. I was raised to, I was playing cards at a very young age, and it's like, the goal's to win, be better than your opponent.
I was curious back with the January 6th thing, Doug.
Uh-oh.
What would you think about it if you were framing it in terms of, you were saying Trump didn't have a big effect on any one person because other people didn't, but kind of with great power comes great responsibility. He had a small effect on a lot of people. Could he have more responsibility than any individual person because of that?
Yeah, I don't think it's additive in that way. I think
really,
yeah, and I think because you could use that same logic. This is for Noteworthy because he loves logic, I think. You apply it to the individuals. So if you're going to multiply the responsibility for the effect he has on all those individuals, then you can just multiply the responsibility that each individual has for themselves. So
no, because it's about the number of people that does something, because more people has more effect, right? So if you have a small effect on 20,000 people, that could be a much larger effect than absolute control over one person.
But each person has that effect, that responsibility on themselves. So you multiply that by 20,000 people, that's a big effect.
Well, right. He doesn't have more responsibility than the entire crowd, but he has more responsibility than one person in that crowd. Maybe, is the argument I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that. I still think my order is people first. They're responsible for their own actions. Then I would say that...
Well, yes, they're all responsible for their actions, but he's responsible for the actions that he took, and they had a larger effect.
I don't deny that, but I say it's still lower than the people's responsibility.
For themselves.
Overall.
I mean, overall. Yeah, I think even overall, but just saying for like one person's responsibility, Trump's responsibility was greater than one person that was there because he had an effect on so many people.
Yeah, it doesn't change my my answer.
Huh. Weird.
So, like, if one person yells fire in a movie theater and everyone runs for the exits, like, in your view, like, those people are all individually responsible, and the one person that yelled fire, like, doesn't...
No, in that case, I would...
There's not an additive effect there.
In that case, I would assign like 99-1 or 98-2, something like that.
So why is that different when it's like political and it's people like stirring up?
I don't even see the analogy you're making. So,
well, Trump was the one yelling fire about the election results, and people believed him and thought they had to do something about it, I think would be the analogy.
The analogy is that Trump yelled fire. Okay, but that in order for
election results.
Yeah, I don't buy that analogy because there was over 100. I think there was 120,000 people at the Washington Monument that day, and Trump finished his speech. Some people went. He said, "Go protest." I think he used the word peacefully in that speech too. Someone can look at the transcript, but it doesn't matter. Some people went, some people didn't. And then of the people who went to the Capitol building, some people went in, some people didn't. So if you're saying that Trump has
that about someone yelling fire too, though. Not everyone runs out of the theater when someone yells fire. So does that mean they're not actually having an effect? Those people chose to react in that way that they know is bad?
The difference is that when you're in a crowded theater, you're in a confined setting where you can't easily leave. Whereas that's not the case with the mall and the the Capitol building. They can very easily have just left. That's where I think the analogy breaks down. So what makes yelling?
Okay, then change it to someone yelling active shooter in an outdoor setting, right? They yell active shooter, everyone runs and goes crazy. Same thing, they can leave, right?
Yeah, they can leave.
You can just change it to make it analogous.
Yeah.
But you're saying that people died from that? I still don't see the direct analogy. Like, for example,
the analogy is like the units. To me, it's like blatantly obvious if someone like yells fire in a crowded theater and people run for the that panic that happened from that is like you said, it's like 99-1.
The reason
I
why
don't see how you don't see the same thing when Trump is doing the equivalent of yelling fire, like with the election results.
First of all, I totally disagree that's equivalent because number one, when you're in a crowded theater, what makes it dangerous to yell fire? Like if I was to be out in an open field with a bunch of people and I yell fire, nobody's going to run, right? It's because the number of exits is limited, which is why it makes it so dangerous. And I don't think it's equivalent at all that, like for example, true or false, Trump said, go to the Capitol, take a weapon, hit police officers, and break glass. Did Trump say that? No.
Well, the person that yelled fire didn't say, everybody run for the exits and trample over people either, right?
Well, that's heavily implied if you think you're going to die and you're in a crowded theater, right? Do you think it's heavily implied?
You all exit orderly. That's what you should do, right?
Do you think
they all made the?
Do you think it's heavily implied that when Trump said go protest at the Capitol, that he was saying that everyone should pick up sticks or weapons or whatever?
No. So here's what I would say with what Trump said is, if you act. So what he said is that we are in danger of losing this country. They are falsely taking it over. If you believe that's actually what is happening, like these evil people are going to take over the country and make things terrible for everyone, it's a moral thing to do to go in and try and change that. He is setting up the scenario in which that is the correct thing for people to do if they believe it.
His cloak and dagger insinuations have been going on for weeks.
Right.
So by that logic, then, if Biden is saying that we have to prevent Trump from taking power, and then if violence occurs after that, would you blame Biden?
The order would still be different. I mean, still be the same.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you would blame Biden.
The order would be the same. It would be the people first, the security second, and then the president third.
But I thought you said you would rate. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And I think my ranking would be the same. It's just that I would think that Biden still had more responsibility than the individual people there. All of the people together.
Then your ranking's not the same.
Well, I think all the people added together had more responsibility than Biden. But if you look at one person in the crowd, I would say I wouldn't rank them higher than Biden in that.
Yeah, no,
because you're saying like individually, I would go, okay, that person there.
No, when I say the people, I mean them as a group.
Yeah, and I'm saying each individual person. If you look at it as each individual, how much?
But as a group, would your ranking would be what?
As a group, I would say the group had more overall responsibility than Biden. But I'd say as an individual, I think I would assign more blame to Biden because of the responsibility that he holds.
You mean Trump whenever you say Biden?
Yes. I was using this in the hypothetical.
I thought you meant Biden in the sense that it would have to apply both ways.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like if I tell you McNitz, or no, you're not really not disagreeing with me. Who is disagreeing with me here?
No, I was disagreeing with you.
If I told you to, I don't know, tomorrow I want you to go kill your banker, and you do. How much?
I have more responsibility. But if you told that to 1,000 people that you had influence over, and 2 of them did, or 5 of them did it, I would say you had more responsibility than each.
Are you sure?
Individual, for the fact that like if they killed 20 people, I would feel like you.
No, on the banker situation, if I tell 20 people to go tomorrow and kill their banker, and 2 of them do,
I don't know if 20 people would be enough. I think you'd have to have influence over probably at least tens of thousands before, to me, it would start getting to be problematic. Like where you would probably have more responsibility.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
like,
if I had 10,000 very loyal subscribers and I told them to do something heinous, then then it would reverse for you. It would go from I'm most responsible, then the people. But if it's under 10,000 roughly, then it'd be the people.
Not really reversed, but yeah, I think that's like more where the breaking point to me would be, where you're getting close to where you have caused more harm than any individual person did. That followed what you said.
I mean, aren't there like kind of similar concepts like coded into legal systems? So I don't think that's a crazy take, right? I mean, like RICO laws, right? Like even if you didn't kill somebody, if you're part of a criminal conspiracy, like they'll charge you with murder just the same.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be charged with murder if you just went on TV and said, "I really don't like that guy."
Wouldn't Charles Manson be a good example?
But if you just went and said, "I really don't like this person,"
yeah, Charles Manson
that person looked like somebody that that they wouldn't charge you for accessory to murder or conspiracy to murder.
Charles Manson is a very good example, and I think I don't know what was the sentencing for the people who actually did the murders versus Charles Manson. Were they equivalent?
That I actually don't know.
I should look that up.
Not off the top of my head, anyway.
I think it was the same. I don't know.
But Charles died in prison.
I guess I'm curious, Doug, is there some point, like, let's say you knew that billions of people found what you said very persuasive and thought you were a very accurate source of truth, and you said something untrue, and based on that, they took actions that hurt other people. Do you think at that point you feel like you'd have more responsibility than any individual, or is it so small that it's still like, you're like, no, it's mostly each individual's fault? I can't be held responsible.
Yeah,
for
this
that.
is something I'm pretty doxastically closed on. Like I would still put, like, I'm not saying no responsibility.
Yeah,
but I would still say,
you don't think any number of people that you influenced could ever make you more responsible than the individual that took the action?
No, I think it becomes very dangerous when you start taking away the primary responsibility.
Well, no, I'm not taking away their like, I'm saying that's mostly them. But because you also have that choice that you made, knowing of the possible.
When you say it's mostly them, then you're agreeing with me.
No, I'm saying it's mostly that. So think about it this way: like, let's say I have 1,000 cups, and I pour water into a little bit of water into all those cups, and a couple of those cups, the bottom breaks out, each one of those cups, we're trying to assign responsibility. Okay, was it because the cup's fault that all this water came out, or was it my fault if I knew that would happen?
Okay, well, but now the things you don't know that's going to happen.
You know that some of the cups have that possibility, I guess. So you're aware ahead of the time of the fact that it is.
Like if you're putting in an idea of near perfect knowledge, then that changes the equation.
No, not your near perfect knowledge. I'm saying probabilistically, you realize. Or we can know that when you say these sorts of things, or when you do these sorts of actions, some percentage of the time it will have an effect on this person. We don't know what the reason for that triggering in that person is, but we know that our words have effects on what other people do, right?
Yeah. It can, yeah.
And it's small, but if you add that up over the effects that your words have over,
we've already been through this, I think twice, McNitz, and I don't agree.
Right. It's weird to me that you say you do have some responsibility for your words and how you cause other people to act, but it could never add up to being worse than just one person making a decision. I'm not sure how mathematically that would work out.
Would you say that rings true with, Godwin's law, but with Hitler?
Yeah, I would still say the same thing with Hitler.
Okay.
I mean, just go to like a bullying example, right? Like say your kid's school, there's this really bad bullies 100 kids, all the kids commit suicide. You would say it's all mostly their fault for doing that, rather than assigning blame to the bully.
Is the bully just using words, or actually like handing them a gun and that sort of thing?
No. He's just like verbally bullying them.
I think with kids, the equation does change a little bit to what you guys are saying, or what McNitz is saying. I do admit that. Mm-hmm. I think kids are
feel like they're more easily influenced.
Yeah, I think kids are more vulnerable than adults. Now, I do also admit that a lot of adults are like kids too. So then, but I still think in general, yeah, the primary responsibility goes to the primary doer. But yeah, that's a good point. Kids are a little different.
If you had evidence, so hypothetically, if you had evidence that like your average Trump supporter that went there on January 6th was like maybe not like childlike levels of influence, but they were very susceptible to influence, maybe like the level of like a 16-year-old or something, that would change your view on that. You would assign.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, if you said that these people were just like kids, yeah.
And do you think that people like that
but notice in a court of law that still wouldn't work. I mean,
well, yeah, right.
Like they still get punished, right? They still be put in jail. They still are held responsible for their actions.
Well, right, they should be, but I think the argument is that Trump also has some responsibility and should be.
I've never denied that.
Held accountable for that. And
we disagree with is the order of the ranking. That's it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And to me, it's not just the order of the ranking, but the fact that you like. It seems to me like you're saying if there were quadrillions of people on the earth, and Trump had done the same thing, and whatever percentage of the population was like, it seems like you're saying at no point could Trump have done a worse thing than the one individual person that followed what he said.
Like Trump did say, "Go peacefully and patriotically."
Right. I mean, I guess, do you just disagree in general that Trump has any responsibility then? Is that what you're saying?
No. How many times do I have to say this, McNids?
If the saying "go peacefully and patriotically" doesn't matter, he did have some responsibility. It's about whether that can add up to more.
But hear me out. For the people who did leave that day instead of go into the Capitol, should we praise Trump for that? Because he did say "go peacefully."
I think the issue to me is whenever
you got to be consistent.
Something moralistically is you're looking. You can't cancel out a wrong with a right. Like if you say that seems to me like you're saying, oh, if you go and kill a person and then you help save someone else, like should we not blame you for the murder? Then I don't think that's how morality.
No, we're talking about two different individuals.
I don't.
Hang on, we're talking.
There's not a symmetry there, though, Doug.
We're talking about two individuals. Okay. They both, let's say we're at the Washington Monument and they make the walk over to the Capitol. And one of those individuals thinks about, Trump's passion and how the election was stolen and so forth. The other one says, but Trump said, go peacefully. And that sticks out to them. One leaves, one goes, let's say breaks glass and goes in. And you're saying Trump should maybe have more responsibility, than the individual and should be blamed for that. But would you say, to be consistent, then the influence that Trump had on that other individual who chose, I guess, to hear things differently or grasp onto those words of go peacefully and patriotically, Trump should be praised then, right?
I think the issue with saying praise there is that he was the
reason to blame.
That they were even considering it in the first place. So he's avoided them doing a negative action based on the things he's already. So he's only averted some of his own responsibility.
I'm talking about that really one individual. Should Trump get more or less praiseworthiness?
I wouldn't praise Trump for that because he's the reason they could have possibly gone into the Capitol in the first place. Averting that doesn't cancel out the rest.
I do not respect this. This is. If you're going to say that Trump is blameworthy or should have more blame for saying go to the Capitol and the election was stolen, you can't then just ignore that someone can take Trump's words the same way as the other person and use those words to leave peacefully. Because Trump said,
I guess I'd say he's responsible for that person leaving peacefully.
There you go.
The question is whether or not you're trying to use that to cancel out the other things. That's my issue.
Then it becomes very clear. Then really, the issue is the person and not Trump, because some went in and some didn't. You can make the argument that the reason why some people who left peacefully, in fact, the majority, did it because of what Trump said, and you can make the argument that some people who went in and caused trouble did it because of what Trump said.
Yeah, and some kids that get bullied don't commit suicide. I don't think we praise the bully or say that it's it's their own the kids' fault, right?
Right.
Well, hang on,
Is
but
it leaving an event after it's over, like typically the expected outcome for the audience there?
But
And
listen,
so,
Right. It's a question of
so,
which direction
even
Trump
if
shifted it.
even
It's
if
not a
Trump
question
did
of
say that,
yeah.
even if Trump did say, peacefully, or whatever it was. I mean, he also said fight like hell, and people took, apparently
Democrats have
some
you've
people
been
took
using
that
that
to be a
language
little
for
bit more
many
literal.
years. Fight like hell. Got to take our country back. I've made videos on this of Democrat
guess
after
maybe this
Democrat
is
after
my
Democrat
question, Doug.
saying
Well,
stuff
no,
like that.
and I'm sure he's also said,
don't forget.
peacefully and patriotically a lot of other times too.
So
Don't
my
forget,
question,
there was
Doug, is
people like Maxine Waters saying that harass people at gas stations and in stores, saying that they're not welcome because of their association with Trump. I mean, the Democrats have been extremely inflammatory with their rhetoric too, more so than Republicans.
do you think more so than Trump?
Yeah,
Really? Because
really.
I don't think I've ever seen the Democrats, from what I've seen, say that an election was entirely stolen purposefully by the other party as a whole to take over the country. I don't think I've seen that rhetoric from high-ranking officials in the Democratic
You haven't
Party
seen
that I
what?
so Trump's rhetoric was essentially that the election was rigged on a national level. The entire Democratic organization was working to steal the election from him in order to take over the country so that they can do whatever nefarious things people believe they're going to.
You accept the results of this election.
And it's been false. So
State of Wisconsin.
I'm saying
Object
there's
to
a
the-
lot more inflammatory rhetoric from the Democrats than I've heard than Republicans.
I just played a video of I think 10 different Democrats saying that the election in 2016 was illegitimate, stolen, should be doubted. This is rhetoric that might cause people to do harmful things.
Yep, and I would agree that I think that's negative. I just sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of the video because I was missing it. But I didn't hear anyone
It seems like
say
it's okay if Democrats say it, but Republicans say it. That's crossing the line. I don't abide by that false dichotomy. That's a double standard. I mean,
I agree with that too. But to me, I don't think I heard anyone there say, as far as I could tell, that the opposite party was purposefully and nefariously working to overthrow and had successfully done so in order to shut out other people's votes.
You know what that reminds me of is when I'm talking about religion with theists and Christians say, but Islam doesn't have a prophet who's still alive today. It's not Islam doesn't say this, and Christianity is the only religion. You're finding all these is not exactly the same, Doug.
To me, it's not the issue of being the same. It's the issue of how much people believe that they are going to be taken over by someone that is going to do harm to them, and how much they believe, based on the rhetoric and how it's framed, that they need to take action and are driven to extreme action.
Are you scared of Trump, McNitz? Let's change the topic a little bit. Are you scared of Trump if he becomes president?
I don't see a high likelihood of something really bad happening. No.
Okay, good. Because some Democrats are freaking out that if they're imploding,
and I guess that's more for me. I think this is another thing I was going to ask you. To me, I think women that now have had difficulty.
Oh, we lost our women.
And have had health effects from that would have a valid reason to say yes. Trump is
I ran them
negative
off.
effect.
My apologies.
Yeah, it was that southern accent, male domineering accent.
Literally.
Is it really that thick? A lot of people say I have a
it's thick.
Accent.
Yeah, you're thick.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah,
it's pretty strong. Yeah.
I'm from the I'm from the Carolinas, and they say it gets pretty thick down here. But anyways.
Yeah, I think personally the risk to me is very small from Trump being in office, but I do think there are a lot of people that would be negatively impacted with abortion rights and things like that. Yes.
Who are you voting for?
I'm probably voting for Biden.
Okay, so you'd rather have an Alzheimer's? No, what's he diagnosed with?
I don't think he's
Parkinson's.
specifically diagnosed with anything.
Well, that we know of.
No, it's
Yeah,
dementia. It ain't Parkinson's.
Yeah. So you're willing to vote for like basically a brain in a vat or brain in a jar type, and just
Yeah,
let
to
the
me,
administration do the behind
mean-
the scenes do the work.
Right. Basically, that's my thought. Is I'd rather have someone that seems to be lacking intelligence and stuff than someone that has more intelligence but seems to be purposefully using that in ways that are doing active harm.
Do you think I should vote for Biden?
Well,
based on what you know
in
about
what way
me?
do you say that? In order to achieve what, I guess?
Well, you know a little bit about me, my background,
Right.
What I value. Based on my values and my
Yeah,
background, who do you think I should vote for?
You should vote for Biden.
I would say I feel like you should vote for Biden because I think that Trump is more detrimental to our democratic system that I think you value. But
I'm not scared of that. I don't think that's going to happen. So why would I?
So see, that's where to me it's an epistemological question. Given that you don't believe that,
Yeah, given my beliefs that Trump's not a threat to our democracy.
Given your beliefs, I think it makes sense that you're not voting for Biden.
Yeah. So can I hear you say audibly that I should vote for Trump based on my values?
Yeah, you should vote for Trump based on that. Like it makes sense that you're doing that.
Yeah. Noteworthy. Can you say the same?
I have different values, so no, I think you should vote for Biden.
No, but you're saying based on his values.
Yeah.
Is he voting in alignment with his? Well, it's not really voting in alignment with your values. It's more voting in alignment with what you believe is right. I mean, basically, isn't that just saying, do we believe that you are going to vote for Trump?
If it's between Biden and Trump, yeah, I'm voting for Trump.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be between
like
Biden and Trump. It's probably going to be between Trump and Harris.
You think so?
Probably, yeah. I give it maybe 51%. No, now Noteworthy's going, what's your epistemology for coming up with 51%? And is that a reliable method?
Said in the funny voice for maximum steel manning there, Doug.
Yeah, but you're a big boy. You can take it.
What do you think about the Project 2025 and Trump's probable support for that, Doug?
I was going to ask that, and Hillsdale College and all that stuff. Yeah, I'd be curious.
I just started reading through it. It's too long of a document. They made it way too long. But some things I agree with, some things I don't. And I think I bet you would give the same answer once you start reading it. You say, I bet you I could find things that you and Noteworthy would say, yeah, I agree with that.
But what about like the whole connection to like the Heritage Foundation and then the connection to like Hillsdale College?
Connections do not bother me.
Yeah.
This is another difference between, I think, in my opinion, a difference between right and left. Like with the left, it's like
so you don't
who
think,
you're seen with is so important.
No. It's not just seen with, right? Like Hillsdale College.
They look at
is
things
like
like groups, Doug. They don't look at individuals.
Like even Biden said this during the debate. Like Trump said some good things about Hitler. I think Biden said something like that. And it's like, for the left, it's like, oh, you can't say but Hitler said anything true or did anything good because Hitler is such a bad guy. You cannot say stuff like this. Like, this is just stupid thinking.
I think a lot of people on the right do that too. I don't feel like that's a left-right difference.
I do.
I've talked to many people that voted for Trump and are like, oh, you can't say anything good about Biden. He's the worst. Like everything's bad about it.
Like in my experience, and I've witnessed and seen comments, thousands and thousands of comments over the last decade on YouTube of just random people that I don't know. And I would say like the genetic fallacy, this is a good one for Noteworthy. The genetic fallacy is more prevalent on the left than the right. It's like I get comments like, oh, Fox News this, Fox News that, so therefore X, therefore it's wrong or not to be trusted. And I very rarely see people on the right do that. Like, oh, you just watch MSNBC.
Wait, that can't be like, I hear people all the time say, oh, that's from the mainstream media and dismiss it. Like, I see that all the time in online comments in conservative spaces.
But the left's saying that now too.
Right, but it doesn't seem like a left-right divide to me. It seems like both of them do it.
There's also valid genetic reasoning, right, Doug? Like, not all genetic reasoning is fallacious.
Of course.
Like, if Fox News statistically puts out more misinformation, like saying this is more likely to be fake news because it's from Fox News, that's
more likely. What does this phrase mean? More likely, it's either true or it's false. Where's the law? Where's your logic? You don't put more likely in a syllogism, do you? Remember we talked about that earlier?
I think they all lie equally.
You just want to talk in a funny voice or have a serious discussion?
Does me talking in a funny voice really bother you that much? I'm not trying to impersonate you. I'm not trying to impersonate you.
Lowbrow.
I'm trying to impersonate the anonymous left-winger. So don't take personal offense.
Fox News lies just about as much as MSNBC and CNN and all the other mainstream outlets. So get off that high horse, please.
But getting back to Project 2025
as an example.
Yeah, the things I disagree with, I think, are more on the reproductive stuff, like the abortion stuff.
Makes sense,
I did a word search on in vitro. They do mention it briefly, but things like loyalty to the president and the Constitution doesn't bother me. I mean, look at the Democrats right now. Some of them are so loyal to Biden they can't see the obvious evidence right plainly in front of their face. If that's not an example of one fear of Project 2025, I mean, they're living it. I bet you I could rewrite Project 2025 in a way that Democrats would say, and just change a few words, and Democrats would say, I'm on board. I don't
think I have a thorough enough understanding of it to know how much would have to be changed.
I think Project 2025 and its relationship with the Heritage Foundation and so forth is to scare people.
I mean, probably rhetoric is effective.
You don't think like having like Hillsdale College that like kind of explicitly wants to revamp like the K-12 education system to basically align with like conservative Christianity and like
right, but the problem is
like you don't think
they're
that's
doing that in the project or not. I don't think the association is the problem. It's what they're saying to
Project 2025 when it comes Project 2025 when it comes to education says the federal government should be out of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just connections, right? Those are all like Hillsdale College, I think, created the Heritage Foundation and the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, but who cares? It now becomes it becomes a state's issue of how public schools are run in each state.
No, because I'm pretty sure what they want to do is go like a voucher system and then essentially probably funnel money to like private Christian.
Good.
So like private Christian schools getting. You think that's a good thing?
Yes.
I think the issue is that those other schools have other sources of funding, so you're essentially privileging private schools by giving them multiple sources of funding at that point.
Yeah, let parents decide where they want their kids to go to school through the voucher system, which schools make poor performing schools die and reward good performing schools.
Yeah, but you're assuming that vouchers are a correct market mechanism to encourage that, and I think
yes, you're right. I'm making that assumption that parents know what's best for their kids. I am.
No, not that they're back, but I think it. So if like just speaking for me, I think that the voucher system has some negative effects. But if the voucher system was in place,
well, the negative effects about the voucher system is what I said: is that poor schools will die.
No, but I think that's not the effect. I think the effect is going to be it's going to kill off public schools no matter whether or not they're performing better performing better per dollar, because you can have a private school where you pay an extra $2,000 and you get your voucher that's the same amount that would go to the public school over that, and they have guaranteed more funds then. The public school can't ask for more funds to try and compete with that, right?
Yeah, let schools compete, and if they can't compete, then they die.
But the very model of the public schools doesn't allow them to compete, and then therefore that drives out of business places that better serve poor families, right?
See, yeah, this is the argument against. It's like poor families can't afford to. They don't have the property taxes to have good schools, and so therefore they should be subsidized. That's your argument, right?
If you have free,
I don't know if that relates, but I think that. I would say that too, probably, yes.
If you have free market of education, how do you measure success or failure?
I would say...
isn't that lives of humans? What should people who went to the failing school should do?
What should be done with the failing schools? Is that your question?
I mean, how do
I
you
think a better
measure
question
if
would be
school,
what do
school
you
fails?
do? Like you can say this school did a better job for the kids that's there, but the question that really matters, I think, with education is, did this overall create a better educated society? And that's where I feel like the voucher
results
system
matter.
I think it could result in a worse overall education level of society while providing better results to people. That
What could lead to a worse? Vouchers?
The voucher system, if it's not properly set up, where you're not prioritizing school, basically making it so that money gets more efficiently funneled to
well, wait a minute. Okay,
schools that people pay for.
I'm a parent. If I'm given a voucher to have a choice to go to two, let's say, charter or private schools, and I make the choice, which is the better school, what's the problem?
So the problem is public schools cannot ask for more funds to be given to them to increase the level of their education.
The public school is still a choice as well for me, right? So I have
it is, but because so that means the rich people that can afford it, obviously the correct choice for them to make is to spend some of their money with the voucher to go to better performing schools and take those funds out of the public
what's
schools.
wrong with that?
The issue is you're creating a system in which you're almost, to me, guaranteeing that you're going to have poor education outcomes for poor people, and overall you're going to have worse education across the country.
No, for the poor people, you're going to have worse education.
Yes. And I think having a very low level of education for poor is probably worse than what we currently have.
Like, do you think it's fair that I can afford to take my family to, let's say, the Keg, which is like a very expensive steakhouse? It's not very expensive, and some people can't? Is that unfair? Like, should I not be allowed to do that?
No, I don't. To me, it's not a matter of fairness. It's what results in a better society. That's what I care about.
Do you want a society where everybody can afford to eat at the same place?
No, I don't really care about that.
What's food? It's sustenance. Like if McDonald's
right,
is
but
not
I don't
very
think
healthy.
Everyone eating at better places results in a better society. I think
Sure
everybody
does.
getting a lower level of quality education.
I can make the argument that if you eat well, you lower your chances of being overweight and obesity and many health problems.
I guess to me, the education.
The poor people in the United States are fat.
To me, the education is exponential in terms of the effects, right? If you educate everyone better, they are able to do more, and they are able to create more value, and they are able to better educate the next generation. That, to me, I don't see that effect really with eating at a better restaurant. I don't think.
Yeah, and I actually
I was going to say, Doug, you shifted the goalposts there from
good
restaurant to just being proper.
I do think that education is not that complicated to teach kids the basics, especially K through 4, like elementary level. What the problem is you got single parent homes, you got parents who have no business being parents. And so, like, if you have kids that are coming from a stable home, most of the time they're very easy to teach. Like, you might have some special, you have some special needs. So the core root problem of education in this country is not actually the teachers or the schools or the building; it's the parents or the lack thereof.
But wait, Doug. But aren't you inadvertently punishing the children for the decisions of the parents in that hypothetical?
Well,
yeah, you're kind of saying, well, okay, the children are getting
no.
At home. We don't care about.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you want to fix the core problem of, let's say, bad education in this country, step one is to maybe have a billboard on interstate saying, "Don't have kids you can't afford. Use contraception."
Do you really think that's going to make a difference, though, Doug?
Yes, I do. I do think shaming
really think
works.
People are going to make decisions based on the billboard?
I think if the left-wing progressives got together and said, you know what? It's okay to shame minorities on this and make them feel bad. I think if the progressives were to get together and say, look, don't do this. Stop it. You're being a bad person in her society. Don't have kids you can't afford. Don't try to seek out your love from a man and then get pregnant and have an unwanted pregnancy. And then you be so religious that you're against abortion. If you want to fix society, this is the root cause.
I think that would be a good fix, but I don't think that would solve the issue of poor people still not having. Oh, but you're saying if that was the case, you could have very little money put into education, it would still work fine, basically?
Yes. In fact, I bet you I could, like my wife's an educator. I used to teach as well. Yep. I bet you my wife and I could start a school with minimal funding and outperform most public schools in this country. Easily.
Well,
I mean,
are you saying because you could get better students in it?
Oh yeah,
seems obviously true.
But. Yes, that's true. Like for example, like yes, I'm assuming that these kids are coming from stable homes.
Yeah, that's kind of cheating in my like. The question is whether you can educate non-ideal children.
But what you're admitting though, Mignitz, is you're admitting that the core issue here is not funding for schools. The core issue here is bad parenting or the lack of parents in the home.
Yeah, to use your percentage, though, to me it seems like it's maybe like a 50% the parenting would solve and 25% would be school funding. I think you'd still have a worse system if you fix the parenting issue if you did the voucher.
Here's another solution to the education problem. Mm-hmm. You find cultures in this country that excel in education, and guess what? It's the Asians. So take all the current teachers, let's say in the inner cities, fire them, and put in Asian men as teachers.
Wait.
All Asians.
Are you saying that you think Asians are better teachers or better learners?
Better teachers, and
is that something that's seen? I feel like you're taking the fact that Asians do better in learning environments and saying that must mean they're better teachers. Which
of course, you're going to have. Not all Asians are good teachers. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Well, I'm not sure that even Asians are better teachers.
In other words, bring in that culture of high standards into the classroom that Asians seem to have more than any other culture.
I think they're
and this would make the progressives happy because they're people of color. So
you're driving to one thing there. I think there are a lot of negative cultural effects of the standard of perfection that exists in some Asian cultures.
Yes, too much pressure causes anxieties to go
up. You agree that has negative effects over in like China and North Korea, South Korea, places, right?
From personal experience, some of my best teachers were Asians. So.
Some of my best friends were Asian.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of anecdotal.
Well, okay. For example, I had a math teacher in tech college, and he was Asian. And instead of going by memorization, he had the patience enough to kind of show me how, because I was taking calculus at the time. No, I'm sorry, statics and strengths, which is engineering. And he actually was going through the nuts and bolts of why this formulation worked the way it did, instead of just going by memorization like I did in high school. So
I mean, I guess if we're going to trade anecdotes,
because of him, I had a new appreciation
teachers for some of the worst in my college. So I mean, I feel like
it boils down to personal experience,
right?
So.
But I want to get back to what Noteworthy said. He was asking about Christian schools and so forth. Like, I regret my son went to public school for all 4 years of high school, and we could have put him in a private Christian school, and I regret not doing that.
What do you think the worst outcomes are?
Well, what the worst outcomes for what?
What are you thinking would have improved in his life if he had went to the Christian school instead?
I think the quality of everything. I think on any metric you can think of, like educational, teaching level, would have been better. The environment would have been better. He loves musical theater. I think that would have been
public
better.
School rating in your area? Are they just poorly rated in general?
Or no.
Pretty good public schools.
Well, I live in a pretty affluent part, and but still, I would say the public schools are above average compared to the rest of the country. They're not bad. Okay. They're not people dying in the hallways through shots, nothing like that. But I still think that the private Christian schools in my area beat the public.
Yeah, that definitely seems possible. Do you think there's also private Christian schools that do way, way worse than the public
definitely.
schools? Definitely. Because I think that's something that I've seen, is that charter schools don't actually generally do better on average. They just have a way wider variety public schools.
But what I was getting at, the whole idea, just because it's a Christian school and I'm an atheist, that does not scare me one bit. In fact, if my kids went to a private Christian school for 4 years, high school, and then came out Christians, guess what? Wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, my kids go to a Christian school right now.
And for some atheists, they got sticks up their butt, like you can't have Christians. You can't. No, it's evil. Like, they hate the queer community. We can't have Christians.
I don't see to me, I have so much more influence over my kids' beliefs than any teacher.
Yeah.
That, it's just not.
Wayne, I thought atheists were supposed to be the tolerant ones.
Depends on the atheist.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah, atheists, 66% of atheists are not very tolerant of diversity on...
it's a very exact number.
Yeah, well, I've refined that number over the years. I've taken many polls on my live streams, and so this is a very reliable epistemology noteworthy.
Reasonable.
That about 1/3 of atheists in my world are conservative, 2/3 progressive or liberal.
I think I thought Pew had stats on that, but maybe not.
Yeah, and I think that's in line with some other stats I've seen. And
for me, it's just a principle.
Here's my prediction, though.
Like taxes going to.
My prediction is that over the next decade, more and more that will even out. It'll even out to more 50-50. That more and more.
I can see that because it's more reactionary with Christians being the major culture right now.
Well, no, I just think that. I think a lot of what's happening in the United States, because it was just like a decade ago when Christianity was like in the 80 percentile, like 80% people were Christians, and that's plummeting. And so what's happening is like even organizations like Freedom of Religion, Freedom from Religion, those help places, they're very woke, they're very progressive. And so the community that a lot of atheists lose has been replaced with anything they can get when they leave Christianity. And a lot of those people are very progressive and left-leaning, but that's slowly changing. I think a lot of atheists, there's still people who are like, they're totally, what is Doug? He's an atheist and a conservative? What? This doesn't, just the fact that people are shocked by that someone can be an atheist and conservative tells me that it has to shift in the other direction. Like people will start saying, hey, you know what? It's okay to be conservative and atheist.
So you're cling is probably not the right word, but you're pretty much adhering to what you said earlier when I was on your live show here about a year or so ago, talking about how there's going to be more and more atheists like yourself that are going to be atheists but conservative in the future.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Okay.
I guess why would you think that based on like kind of all the historical data we have with like Europe?
I just explained it
more and more.
Because the community...
Well, right, but you think that Trump's
you explained the story, but I think he's saying the data seems to show that the story might be incorrect.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we have a lot
there
of
is
data
no
from,
data
like,
on this.
No, he's saying
from like Europe,
countries that have become more atheist, right?
Yeah, becoming more secular.
No,
like it seems like all of them have shifted left.
But the other countries are, like, you're talking about European countries, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The culture's different. That's
true.
It's
completely different. And like how many, in the last 10 years, how many European nations were at 85% Christian and then dropped to, what are we at now, in the 50s, 59, 63, something like that? In 10 years?
I mean, I think that did happen in like the Nordic countries, didn't it? Although they had a lot of those are state-sponsored religions too, so I think that's another big difference, probably.
I think we're going back much further back.
Well, yeah,
and even the UK, for example, like when you actually implement bishops in your parliament, that is that's a fast way to get rid of religion, and that's what happened.
Yep, exactly.
But the United States never did that. They kept a separation. Yep. They still might do prayer, before Congress once in a while, but for the most part, Christianity would be far lower as a percent today if we actually put the clergy into Congress.
I mean, the worst thing that happens here is that we have "In God We Trust" on our currency and on certain federal buildings, but I don't think you ever actually have any clergy in positions of government. I don't think. Not like the UK, like you just explained.
Yeah.
As I know of, anyway.
Tried Ark. Forgive me, but are you a believer?
I was a Christian, then I kind of went to deism. So that's where I stand.
I remember now. Because we talked about this, right?
Yeah, I did, and then you ended the call because I was getting loopy, and I must admit I was sleep deprived, so I still apologize for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just after midnight here. Maybe we should wrap it up. But this has been fun. We've got to do more late night things.
Oh, yeah.
This.
It was quite excellent.
You guys don't have to leave, but you can't stay here. No, I'm kidding. I'm just going to end the stream, and I'm going to leave. But you guys can keep talking if you want.
All right.
All righty.
Talk to you later, Doug.
Okay, that was that. That was fun. Focusing on the live stream chat. Does anybody have any questions in the live stream chat for me? Thanks for the 60 people who up late watching this. I'm sure I said things that some of you disagreed with, and some things I agreed with. You agreed with. I find I tend to agree with the things I say, but you might not. Do I need bumper music to end a late night stream, or do I just like... Let's see. What do I have here? I must have something here. Yeah, I need your love. Didn't learn much doing the associates in college, and it was $750 per class, 2 years. Sorry, Aragorn. Yeah, not late in Australia. Well, let me guess the time in Australia. Oh, this is gonna be hard. I don't know. It must be like 3:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. Am I close? I'll be shocked. What day and what time is it in Australia right now? In the time zone you're in. I guess 3:30 on Thursday. Let me guess, is it like actually Saturday? It's morning in my country. That means you are in Eastern Europe, Brian, right? The Czech Republic is my guess. You were close, then you were really far. Oh. I'm close with the time, but wrong on the day. 5 p.m. Friday in the East Coast. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, neither Thursday or Saturday. It's the weekend, baby. Okay, guys. Good night. Take care.